am that way is because I'm from the Midwest. I remember somebody was talking about your nose freezing.
Yeah.
And in the Midwest, you don't talk about yourself. You don't promote yourself. You don't do that. My father always said, "Son, if you've got something people want, they will come to you. You don't have to promote yourself." Which is why we were poor. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, you knew that. I'm Billy O'Leary. I'm 54 years old. I've been acting for 45 years, over 45 years now. I started out obviously very young. High school got really serious. We had a great program. I was in class with Jeff Perry and Gary Sinise, and actually mostly I was cutting my math class to go and be in class with them. Steppenwolf started out of our program. The woman that ran it was a woman named Barbara Patterson. She was amazing. I got accepted to only one school, Illinois State University. It was a little teacher's college down in the middle of the corn in Normal, Illinois. Back then there was a lot of money for the arts in the 70s. And the guy that ran the program, Cal Prittner, built an amazing program by buying talent away from larger schools. He also didn't let something like a high school GPA deter him. So the fact that I graduated with a C- from high school didn't bother him at all. And he gave me a scholarship along with a lot of other people. So lucky enough to be there. There was a period of time, about 6 years, during which Billy Peterson from CSI, John Malkovich, Laurie Metcalf, Gary Cole, Tom Irwin, Jane Lynch, were all in this little teacher's college in the corn, taking all those kinds of 70s acting classes. Animals acting class, where you gather around the water hole and you have to kill each other and and eat things with your teeth. Oh man! But a great program, great foundation. I didn't go up to Steppenwolf in Chicago. In retrospect, I probably should have. Instead, I had done a Shakespeare festival and had seen a lot of the other actors from the big conservatories around the country. And I was blown away by what they could do. I mean, you could give one of those folks a monologue they'd never seen at the top of the theater aisle. By the time they got to the bottom of the aisle, they could do stuff with it, and get up on stage. I mean, they were just... Anyway, I took a suitcase and $100 and got on the Amtrak and went to Seattle. And I figured I'd work for a year and establish residency and do all those kinds of very straightforward Midwestern-y kinds of things. And something happened, somebody dropped out, and I was in school 2 weeks later. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have gone to conservatory. I think it overtrained me. I think there's a point at which training becomes its own thing and doesn't actually move us toward working on stage, or more particularly in TV and film. However, training was great. I was very lucky in Seattle. I got my union card there. I did union work. I paid for grad school. I went to New York a few years later, a year later, and did more regional theater and off Broadway. I wound up opening on Broadway with Ed Harris and Judy Ivey. I wound up doing a bunch of nice roles in huge #1 movies, and a bunch of starring lead roles in absolutely crap, tiny, little, never seen movies. It was the 80s. Sometimes they show up on late night weird channels.
Nice Girls Don't Explode.
Oh! Yeah, the posters are all mine. I try to be fair and balanced here, so you'll see ones you recognize and several you don't. Like Nice Girls Don't Explode, my first film. Moved out here, did more of the same. Finally needed an acting class. I hadn't had an acting class in about 20 years. And I went to Leslie Kahn, who also happened to be my old high school girlfriend. It was an amazing program. True. And I thought what she taught was great. I've done a lot of comedy, a lot of big series, blah blah blah. And she asked me to start teaching. I taught for a number of years, and I came up with something new. and she didn't want me to teach it there, which was fine, so I started out on my own. This is my studio. I live out in Malibu, and I just come on in here for classes and stuff. The reason I want to tell you all that is because I want you to know my orientation. Plus or minus, that's what it is. I have no problem with any reaction that anybody has to anything that I say or teach. I just want you to know where I'm coming from. Primary of which is heavy theatrical training, and then a very steep learning curve into TV and film, and an enormous number of mistakes, from which I've learned a number of things that I want to try to help you out with. All right? I'll take questions now.